A tragic scene in northern India right now where a train derailment has killed dozens of passengers. We'll have the latest on the rescue efforts in just a moment. And South Korea's president under investigation. Park Geun-hye is a suspected accomplice in the corruption scandal that has engulfed the country and her presidency. Two former aides and a longtime friend have been indicted. We'll have the latest from Seoul. Thank you for joining us. You're watching CNN Newsroom. I'm Cyril Vanier. We're live from Atlanta. Prosecutors say they are now investigating South Korean President Park Geun-hye as a suspect in a major corruption scandal that has engulfed her presidency. They formally indicted 3 people on Sunday: the informal advisor and longtime friend of Park, who's been at the center of this scandal for weeks, as well as 2 former aides. Our Paula Hancock joins us now live from Seoul. Paula, this is devastating for the South Korean presidency. Prosecutors are going after not just her confidant and her close aides. After all, that was expected to some extent, but they're saying the president was involved.
Well, they say that they found evidence that they believe she had been working with Chae Sun-sil, the confidant who's been indicted on charges of abuse of power, fraud, coercion, and they believe that they have enough evidence that President Park Geun-hye herself should be investigated as a suspect in this growing scandal here. Now, we were expecting the president to be questioned this week as a witness, but this, of course, is a very significant change in terminology. Prosecutors clearly thinking they have enough evidence to show that she was in some way involved as far as they're concerned, and certainly they are very keen to speak to her as soon as possible. We were at one point thinking this might happen last week. This is what prosecutors wanted, but the Blue House at this point has not given a location, a time. They're also saying this afternoon, this Sunday afternoon, at some point they will have a statement as to what these prosecutors have said as well. Cyril?
And Paula, I want to ask you, and I realize it's very early in this investigation process, of course, but do you think that politically the president can survive this? I mean, her approval ratings are extremely, extremely low.
Well, that's right. For the 3rd week in a row, she's on 5%, which is the lowest any South Korean president has been in history. And you have hundreds of thousands of South Koreans coming onto the streets every Saturday night as well, calling for her resignation. Last week on Saturday, there was close to 1 million, according to organisers, although the police do actually have a lower estimated figure. But there is growing anger here at what they see that they believe the president has done. They believe she has no power left. She's lost the trust of the people. There are growing calls for her to step down. This will only increase now she's being treated by prosecutors as a suspect. But there are others as well, those in political office or those experts who don't believe that she will actually step down. Opposition leaders saying if she doesn't, then they will try and impeach her.
All right, thank you very much. Paula Hancock's reporting live there from Seoul on the possible consequences for the South Korean president. And of course, we'll continue to update you on those 2 major stories today: the train derailment in India and this investigation on the South Korean president in Seoul.